Way back in the medieval times like 2007, there were these things called the console wars that actually mattered. Sony had PlayStation, Nintendo had whatever console they were making at the time, and Microsoft had Xbox. Each console would offer different things and have an exclusive game which you have to pledge your allegiance to, or spend a lot of money and space for them all. PlayStation had titles like Uncharted, Metal Gear, God of War. Nintendo, well, they were always exclusive. And Xbox had one very important hitter: Halo. This game was the game. Just a bunch of college students who wanted to make a sci-fi shooter with vehicles, and it hit the market like cocaine. If you ever want to see how insane the market for Halo 3 was, go look at the old videos because it was insane. No other game has ever done it like this, and seeing the midnight release for these videos are super nostalgic. Like this.
This is the Super Suck Lord out here on the corner of 44th and 5th Avenue here in New York City.
Being the little guy I was during this time was questionable. Xbox 360 lobbies were at full swing, lots of yelling and salt occurred, but it was the time to be around and to be the guy, the chief. Before he became the white monster cat-eared Fortniter he is today, he was the Mountain Dew loving blue waifu having gamer, everything that we all wanted to be at the time. But for me, the most alluring thing to me about Master Chief was his armor. While I do like superheroes, transformations, and just base power-ups, something about a guy who has armor that makes him powerful was always badass. I'd always watch the Halo trailers on loop, each one showing or telling how Master Chief is, depicting him as this mythical hero who'd save the day with just a gun, armor, and luck was really inspirational. Even though later learning that the Spartans are genetically modified super soldiers, the armor was so cool. Any guy likes armor, medieval or futuristic, and I wanted one. I remember when I was a kid, I'd scan through all the promotional videos and the midnight release of Halo 3, trying to see if he's around, and stop! There it is. It's real. The yellow visor, the green bulky armor, the black undersuit. It must have been incredibly uncomfortable to wear in New York at midnight, but I wanted one so badly. And so I looked around to see if there's any purchasable ones, and yeah, no, okay, never mind, this was a wash. So I kept on searching and scrolling. While in between watching Chief and Arby in my daily cone trick sessions, I felt like what I wanted would never become realized. Like, yeah, there is a costume I could beg my parents for, but it's not what I wanted. Because I wanted this. To become the Master Chief. To be the Master Chief. And not just some LARPer chief, and the companies that did make them did not make them for kids, and all of them seemed to be off-colored and plasticky. I did see clone troopers in actual armor at cons, but Spartan armor? It felt like something not tangible to fans to create because there's a lot of parts needed to make it come to life, and wait, what the fuck? What footage am I looking at right now? And holy shit! Little Bird Brain me didn't realize I need to buy one from Party City. You can just make one from scratch. I know costuming and cosplay from scratch was a thing because my friends did this, but to make armor? And to almost look like the source material. I didn't know that was even possible, especially with how detailed Master Chief's armor is. But if there's one thing I've learned from researching this, and the next video I'm working on, is that if someone loves a franchise very much, you get some crazy stuff. Because as Halo has been running, people went from this to this. So, how did people start making these? Well, by learning from our fan forefathers, the Star Wars fans. A lot of tools and tricks of the trade started from there. When people first started making the Spartan armor, the most popular method they mostly use is called pepakura, which is essentially just paper mache on crack. The method was you fold the cardstock, then reinforce it with carbon fiber resin or other methods. You can probably imagine how tedious something like that could be, but rewarding at the end. That was the technique for a while. until the discovery and game changer of EVA foam. Now this was a huge changer, a material that can be bulky, which is perfect for armor, weapons, and comfortability. All you had to do was just cut, mold, glue, layering to fit the shapes and proportions of your body, and presto, Mr. Chief in the flesh. Or in-game nerd talk, an inner titanium alloy tech suit with an adapted liquid crystal layers and high-density nanocomposites surrounded by thick titanium 8. But then, a rumble, a heat, an industry-wide tool was introduced to the fold that changed everything. It was time for the dawn of the 3D printers.
The careful textbooks measure, let all who build beware. The load, the shock, the pressure, material can bear. So when the buckled girder lets down the grinding span, the blame of loss or murder is laid upon the man, not on the steel, the man.
With the newfound power of a 3D printer and some filament, all you have to do with 3D printing is download the files, adjust for size, press enter, and bam! It's real. Do you need props? Accessories? Slop? The 3D printer can make any slop you want. All you need to do after gluing is sand, 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 primer, sand, sand, primer, sand, sand, paint, detail paint, and done. Now, the simple thing to think after hearing what a 3D printer can do is, why not just use that instead of foam or pepakura? Well, all of these methods for making armor haven't gone out of style or better than the others. It all just depends on what materials you're most comfortable with and, let's face it, money and resources you're willing to spend on. Each technique would lead down to the same road, a cool piece of armor. Also, one suit doesn't have to all be 3DA, EVA, or whatever. If it's possible for the person or call aid on from another community member, you can mix them. Even the costume designer from the Paramount show used a mixture of foam and 3D print, so mixing them with what you can do and most comfortable wearing should always be the way. Also, there are people out there who take this to the extreme and add to their costumes. For example, the helmets, while cool looking, they are, well, not fun to have on or look through or even speak through. So people have developed ways to make them more comfortable. Some people add fans for cooling, lights to see where they're going, or even speakers to not only hear better, but speak better. To show how insane it can get, here's a snippet from the Halo community stage where one mad lad who made a helmet that has the front covered. So he added a camera to the front and a screen inside so he'll be able to see where he's going. If any of this has piqued your interest and want to try your hand at this, or thinking of picking up a new skill or taking your costuming to the next level, there's videos online that goes into their methods of how they do it, but the most useful resource hands down for anything Halo cosplay related is the 405th Infantry. The 405th is a cosplay community that started back in 2002, where you can find a lot of files, methods, tutorials, and a lot of forums. The funny way I discovered this was actually watching footage from a person making a cast for a gun, and he had his own website link which had a Wayback Machine in it that also led to me seeing a lot of fun and silly posts of making cosplays that mostly just went, hey, look at this cool method, here's a link to the 405th to them. And this is also the way you can meet up with fellow Halo fans because this is how they coordinate meetups. If you are just starting out to all this, or just have a question or need a suggestion, there's a high chance that someone has already made a post about it and someone has already given a response in detail. Just to show you how brilliantly crazy they are, if there's an armor or weapon you need to find a file for printing or layout, there's the Armory tab that contains literally everything, from Master Chief's armor from Combat Evolved all the way to the armors in Halo 5. It's there for you to just grab, adjust, and make. It's honestly endearing to see such a community of nerds banding together, helping each other out, and creating essentially an extension of themselves, which to me, the Halo 405th Infantry is the essence of what a community should be all about. While researching this video, one of my friends was confused as to why I love looking into specific parts of communities like this, and also, why? Why Halo, a game franchise that has recently been getting a bad rep, and why specifically the cosplay part of it? Out of all cosplay stuff like Monster Hunter, Mega Man, why Halo out of all of them? Well, to me, Halo has the most you can pour into a customized character outside of an MMO that if you're making an OC Spartan, rather than making the already made characters like Master Chief, you can delve into this rabbit hole of information that you can sleuth from to pick and choose what pieces you want. Or if you're not too fond of making a Spartan, you can also have everyone's favorite and be an ODST, whose armor is different and easier to make because you're just a guy rather than a steroid Spartan. Or you can get even crazier and make a grunt, or an elite, or even a goddamn hunter. You can choose your armor, your colors, your emblems, your weaponry, everything. It can be the extended you, or with Halo and its massive world building, your OC. And if you're going in blind and have nowhere to turn to, you can head to the 405th and ask questions that people are eager to answer because you're welcome, supported, and rewarded for your hard work of putting yourself out there by the community and the studio. Because no matter what the studio is now, whether it being known as Bungie, 343 Industries, or now Halo Studios, there is one thing that is very important for any game developer to know and practice, which is this. Without a community, there is no game. And without a game, there is no community. And they knew that from the very start of Halo. That's why you always get events like this and have opportunities to collaborate, meet new people, while making awesome stuff. So if there's one thing that I've learned from looking into this community, it's this. Go out there, interact with the people of the community, and create. The worst thing that can happen to you is you make a few friends who you get to hang out with and to make memories with. This has been Lounge. Thank you for watching, and let's meet back again, shall we?